Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to go ahead and rank the top 10 free agents still available after the 2022 NFL Draft. And the way that I have these players ranked is overall how talented they are, how much of a need it would fit for the team, and if they would just be a good fit with the overall roster in general. And on top of that, I also gave you 5 honorable mentions, so I know I'm doing my part. I will say this, though. As it stands right now, the Raiders' salary cap is at $5.8 million, which is ranked 26 in the National Football League. So if you're going to go out and sign some of these dudes, you will either have to make some money move around, you're going to have to cut a guy, but I've seen if you want a player bad enough, you can make it work. Or we just wait until after June 1st to get that extra $20 million from Corey Littleton and Carl Nassib, and then we can really go ahead and splurge. Spam splurge down in the comments. Seriously, though, don't miss out on any of the shows. If the Raiders go out and they make a big-time signing, if they go out and make a big-time deal, we will be going live here on the Raiders Report. So subscribe for the best Raiders vids on the internet. Turn on those notifications. See that bell? Click that bell. Click all, because when we go live, we like to party. We like to have a good time. So if you missed those Oakland-style tailgates, I try to give you Raiders news, and the Oakland-style tailgates, we're partying, we're having a good time, but also breaking down the news. All right, let's get into my top 10 free agents still out there that the Raiders could potentially sign. You have this offensive lineman / edge rusher, Jerry Hughes, and Hughes is a good player, and for NFL teams, there's always a need for an edge rusher. Why? It's a quarterback-driven league, and in the division that we're in, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, it's not bad to try to get after those guys. 8 straight seasons with at least 15 starts. So you know for a fact that he's at least consistent. And sure, he might not be able to come in and play as many snaps as he once was able to. He is like 33 years old at this point. But he's going to be able to come in and be a good rotational pass rusher. Like, he would be the 3rd best pass rusher on this team behind Crosby, behind Chandler Jones. And for that, I like that ability here out of Jerry Hughes. Let's go to number 9 on my list, and it's defensive tackle Akeem Hicks. Even though the Raiders went ahead and they drafted Malcolm Butler, they went ahead and they drafted, my goodness, what's his name? Neil Farrell Jr. from LSU. There's still a little bit of a need here at DT, and I saw Bilal Nichols and Hicks play well together last season for Chicago. He was my number 1 DT at the start of free agency. Yes, I changed my opinion a little bit between him and Calais Campbell, but I think Hicks is still the top guy out there. 25 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 5 tackles for a loss. If the Raiders still believe that they need another DT, Akeem Hicks is the top player out there. So I'm giving you guys 10 names, and I'm also going to sprinkle in 5 more, but I want you guys to go down in the comments, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Rumble, hell, I don't care where you're watching this video, and I want you to name a free agent that the Raiders should go out and try to sign. At number 8 here are my top free agents after the draft still available. It's Riley Reiff, and right tackle still remains to be the biggest positional need for the Silver and Black. I see Reiff being an upgrade over Brandon Parker, so for that reason, if Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels want to stick true to their word of, hey, we're going to put the best offensive lineman out there, Riley Reiff, there you go. There's an upgrade over Brandon Parker. I will say this, though. I think one of the biggest reasons why Reiff is still unsigned is because he thinks he's a lot better than what he actually is. I wouldn't give him over $4.5 million. If Morgan Moses goes for about $5.5, then I value Riley Reiff at $4.5. He played in 12 games last season for the Cincinnati Bengals. He did allow 4 sacks. There was definitely some games where the tape was a little bit inconsistent. But $4.5 million for Riley Reiff, I will take that instead of, let's say, Brandon Parker lives up to $3.5. I'd rather just pay the extra money for Reiff because he's going to be better. At number 7 on my top free agents list, it's Kyle Van Noy, and he can play defensive end. He can play outside linebacker. He can rush the passer. He can stop the run and drop back into coverage. That's the kind of versatility that I like, and I know it's the type of versatility that Patrick Graham is going to like. Not only does he have some experience playing in some Patriots defenses, he's got a good relationship with McDaniels, and he's got a really good relationship with Dave Ziegler. Last season, he bounced around on the Patriots defense, but he still had 66 tackles. He had 5 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. His versatility, his leadership would be a really good player to go ahead, bring in here to this defense to help other players learn a new system. So I don't know about y'all. I'm ready to fight, and I'm ready to rumble right now, and I like to win. And yes, the Raiders Report is a very successful show, but I hate losing. And I really hate losing to Harrison Graham, and I really hate losing to the Chiefs Report. So, let's change that. I want the Raiders Report to have more followers over on Rumble than the Chiefs Report. Why? Because FKC. I can't stand Chiefs fans. So if you want the Raiders Report, if you support me, if you hate the Chiefs, all I need you to do is go to this link right here, rumble.com/Raiders Report. Give it a follow, and not only that, you're going to get extra Raiders exclusive content. Another easy way to do it is to scan this QR code. Send that QR code to every Raider fan that you know and say, if you hate the Chiefs, follow this. And if they don't do it, then I guess they don't hate the Chiefs. Well, let's go to number 6 here on my list. It's Justin Houston, who, well, he actually played for the Chiefs for quite a long time. Again, edge, offensive, or outside linebacker. I'll continue to go ahead and look for it. Why? It's important. Great veteran leader for a young team. 3 straight seasons with at least 15 games played. Not only is Justin Houston a fun defensive end, yes, he's getting up there in age, but I would love for a player like Malcolm Kuntz. I would love for even a guy like Cleveland Ferrell to learn behind somebody like Justin Houston, who had 34 tackles last season, 4.5 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. He's going to show up to work every day. He's going to put that work in, and as long as Justin Houston feels like that he could still play football, I'm going to go ahead and try to put him on my football team. At number 5, and this one makes me a little bit nervous, but you know what? Sometimes when you live in Vegas, you got to roll the dice a little bit, and that's what I'm doing here with Trey Flowers. He played his best football, which is one of the reasons why he got that fat 6-year, $90 million contract a few years ago with the Detroit Lions, was because he played his best football with the Patriots from 2016 to 2018. He is an upgrade over Cleveland Ferrell, and if you're telling me right now that Clee is our third defensive end, I love Max Crosby, love Chandler Jones, but imagine a world if we could put Max Crosby and Trey Flowers as your 2 defensive ends, and then you have Chandler Jones stand up as your outside linebacker edge rusher. That's kind of fun to me. Flowers, I also believe this, would take a cheaper deal to come play for the Raiders. Mitch, why would he do that? Because the best seasons he's ever had have been under Dave Ziegler, have been with a team also coached with Josh McDaniels. Yes, McDaniels on the offensive side of the football, but there's that relationship there. Trey played very well in a Matt Patricia, Patriot style of defense. Is Patrick Graham's defense the same? No, it is not. But I do know this. If Trey Flowers wants to make more money in the future, take less money now, 1-year prove-it deal with the Raiders, and then next offseason, I guarantee you'll make more money. Now, before I get into even my top 4 names, I also want to throw in some honorable mentions. And I think Landon Collins makes some sense. If the Raiders were actually interested in the Honey Badger, Landon Collins, use him the way that Jabril Peppers was used in Patrick Graham's system last year. Donta Hightower, good linebacker, knows a good defense, good relationship with the Patriots coaches. Jamie Collins, same exact thing. Long, lanky guy, continues to be very productive at an outside linebacker in a 3-4. Janoris Jenkins, he's played in Patrick Graham's system as a corner. If you're actually worried about Trayvon Mullen, if you're worried that you're not going to be able to get James Bradbury, go out and get the Jackrabbit. And then I'm going to throw in the name Cole Beasley for the simple fact of he is a slot receiver. He had 81 catches last season. Some of the best Patriots offenses of all time underneath McDaniels had 2 very good slot receivers. Yes, I want to see what Brian Edwards can do. Yes, I want to see what Demarcus Robinson can do. But if you put out Cole Beasley and Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller and Devontae Adams, I mean, those are 4 players right there that have a legit chance to catch over 75 balls. Good luck trying to stop that. All right, y'all, so what is the Raiders' biggest need right now? Because one of the things that I had to debate when I was making this list is, obviously, you got to talk about talent. And the next player coming up here is a very talented guy, but I don't know if it's the biggest need right now for this team. So you got to debate talent, you got to debate need, and then you got to debate how much it's going to cost them. So as it stands right now, after the NFL draft, what is the Raiders' biggest need right now? Coming in at number 4, it's Odell Beckham Jr., and I've talked about OBJ tons of times on this show. He tore his ACL in the Super Bowl, but from what I've read, from what I see, he should be ready to go for Week 1. If the Raiders go ahead and make this move, they have the best offense in the National Football League. I don't care what anybody says, and if you're somebody like McDaniels and Ziegler, that has to be at least a little bit intriguing to you, right? And for OBJ, maybe he wants to take another 1-year prove-it deal. You put him next to Devontae Adams. He's not the main guy. He's not the main spotlight. Now, I would say he should take a one-year deal with the ACL injury that he's got going on right now. And again, wide receiver is not the biggest need for this team, but he's talented. And I saw if you give him a good quarterback, and Derek Carr is a major upgrade over Baker Mayfield, Odell can still be that guy. So if you want to add an extra receiver, he's the top guy. He's the top wide receiver free agent out there, which is why he made the list. At number 3, and this is where it really starts to get interesting, it's Jadeveon Clowney. He could play defensive end. He could play outside linebacker in Graham's defense. I personally see Jadeveon end up going back to the Cleveland Browns, but if I've learned one thing from watching him, if you need him to be the number 1 edge rusher in your defense, he can't do it. When he's played next to Myles Garrett and the Browns, Jadeveon looks really good. Not only does he not have to be the number 1, he doesn't have to be the number 2. And if you have Jadeveon Clowney, Chandler Jones, and Max Crosby, I understand Clowney's never had a double-digit sack season, but he's also pretty damn good against the run. Yes, he's got some injury concerns always. Clowney, though, $10 million on a one-year deal. Sign me up for it, man. Sign me up for it. We still got 2 names to go ahead and hit on, and if you watch the show enough, or if you follow me on IG, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably know the names that are going to be coming up here. So if you don't, another reason, hit me up. IG, Twitter, at Mitchell Renz 365. Coming in here at number 2 is J.C. Tretter. And Tretter is an upgrade over Andre James, and he's a massive upgrade over James. I see Dylan Parham starting for the Raiders on the offensive line, but what if you wanted to go ahead and put Tretter at center, and you could go ahead and put Parham at left guard? That makes your offensive line really legit. And if I've learned anything from the NFL draft, Ziegler and McDaniels, they weren't confident in the offensive linemen on the interior that the Raiders already had. And Tretter's the best interior offensive lineman still out there. 78.7 overall grade last season according to the PFF. An 83.7 pass blocking grade. 74.8 run blocking grade. Last year played in 16 games, allowed in only 1 sack. Very, very smart human being, and I'm not just saying that because he went to Cornell. Listen to what coaches say about him. Smart player, could help out the offensive line, and he's had an over 70 PFF grade in 5 straight seasons, I believe. J.C. Tretter is a hell of a football player. But coming in here at number 1, and I've been trying to get a hashtag trending, hashtag Daryl to Las Vegas or Daryl to Vegas. I put it out on Twitter. Daryl Williams is the top offensive tackle, or at least the top right tackle still available. And the biggest question mark for this team is who the hell is going to play right tackle. On top of that, having a reliable veteran at that position, it helps out the right guard, because then the right guard can rely on just their need. I think one of the biggest reasons why Leatherwood at times struggled at right guard last year is because he had to worry about Brandon Parker on his side. So you have Daryl Williams at right tackle. You let Alex Leatherwood learn the guard position and be a solid guard. You have a solid center then hopefully in Dylan Parham. Left guard is Denzel Good. Left tackle is Colton Miller. Daryl Williams should be the Raiders' number 1 flipping priority, and if it's not, shame on them. So when I go back and I look at a lot of these numbers here, the reason why Williams got released last season by Buffalo is because he couldn't play guard, which I'm always a big believer of. If it's not broken, why are you trying to fix it? And every single season that Williams has played right tackle, he's been really good. So I want you to look at these numbers, and I'll explain to what's on screen. In 2021, his PFF grade was 67.5. He played in 571 snaps at right tackle. He also played in over 600 snaps at offensive guard. The best years that Daryl Williams has played, the majority of the snaps have come at right tackle. So in 2020, 79.4. That is a very good grade according to the PFF. Over 1,000 snaps at right tackle. Cool. 2019, he was playing left guard. He was playing left tackle all over the football field. Worst season. Why? He didn't play a lot at right tackle. 2017, because 2018 he didn't play. 2017, over 1,000 snaps at right tackle, a 77.2 grade. Right when he first got into the NFL, 67.5 overall grade, because he played the majority of his snaps at right tackle. So what am I saying? If you put Daryl Williams at right tackle, he is going to be a very good right tackle. So what do you guys think? Those were my top 10. My top 10 free agents still out there after the NFL draft. I'm not ranking it based on those are the guys that the Raiders have the most interest in. I'm simply ranking it off of those are the top free agents still out there that if the Raiders wanted to go ahead and maybe spend some money, that they should look at this list. So you guys go ahead and let me know who is the number 1 free agent that the Raiders should sign.